Hi, Lee Phillips here. I want to talk today about who owns a limited liability company, who owns an LLC. And it's a question that I get quite often, and it's kind of a, well, duh. The owners own the LLC. Yeah, that's true. But who are the owners? In an LLC, we don't call them owners. We don't call them shareholders like we do in a corporation. We call them members. They're members. They're not partners. They're members. And those are the guys who own it. So who can own the LLC? Maybe that's a better question. The fact of the matter is it depends upon how the LLC is taxed as to who can own it. If it's a single owner, taxed as a disregarded entity or a sole proprietorship, then you are going to own it. Now, wait. Maybe we don't want you to own it. Maybe we want your living revocable trust to own it. Because if your living revocable trust owns it, then your family doesn't have to probate it when you die. So, in the back of your mind, and I'm going to go fast, think, when I say you own it, no, you don't actually own it. Your living revocable trust owns it. But for practical purposes, for legal purposes, for tax purposes, you are your living revocable trust. So if it's one guy, one living revocable trust, you, then you have it taxed as a sole proprietorship. And then if you're going to tax it as a partnership, you can basically have anybody you want own a partnership interest. Be a member. If it's taxed under Subchapter S, you've got to follow the Subchapter S rules as to who owns it. The short story is that Subchapter S requires basically that a warm-blooded American citizen owns it. Now we can get green card holders and we can get a bunch of things, but you can't have another LLC or a corporation or another entity own an interest in an LLC or corporation that's taxed under Subchapter S of the IRS code. There are very specific rules, and you can only have a limited number. When I started out, I think it was like 20. Yeah. I think it's more like 150 now. That tells you how old I am. Yes, and my phone is on. I apologize. You've got the 150 that, or whatever it is today, that a Subchapter S entity can actually have as the owners, and they have to be people because the IRS wants to make sure that they can find that person and get that person taxed as an owner or a member of the LLC. If it's taxed under Chapter C of the IRS code, that's the same as a C corporation. That's the same as IBM, Ford, all the rest of these guys. And you can have as many members or owners as you want. You can sell stock on the stock exchange if you register it and do all that stuff. So who is the owner of an LLC depends upon how the LLC is taxed. Generally, you're going to be the owner. Actually, you're not. Your living revocable trust is. And that's the way the vast majority of LLCs are set up. By the way, one more thing. I said that if it's taxed under Subchapter S, and you may want your little LLC taxed under Subchapter S. If you are earning earned income, you're selling goods or services basically, then you want it taxed probably under Subchapter S. There's some big tax advantages, and we talk about those in other videos that we have. But can your living revocable trust own the membership interest if it's taxed under Subchapter S? I just told you that it had to be a warm-blooded American citizen. And then I told you earlier that your living revocable trust for legal and everything else is you. So can your trust own the stock, the membership interests, in the LLC that's taxed under Subchapter S? The answer is yes, if it meets if it's a qualified Subchapter S trust. And it has to meet, I think, 7 criteria. Basically, you have to get all the income from it, and it has to be paid out at least annually. So if your trust is properly written and meets these criteria, then your trust can even own your membership interest in an LLC taxed under Subchapter S. Lee Phillips talking about who owns an LLC, who owns a limited liability company.